Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Valentina. Hope you all are doing okay. All right, so today I'm going to be answering a couple of questions. So it's just necessarily a video about the honest truth concerning Caribbean medical schools. Okay, so I'm just going to be answering, is it okay to go to Caribbean schools? Are you going to come out a successful physician? So it's just going to be different answers to all your questions, because many of you watched my video about a day in the life of a medical student in Barbados and have been texting me about a lot of questions. So I'm doing this just to answer all your questions. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by
First question, can I become a successful physician after schooling in a Caribbean school? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, I schooled in the American University of Barbados, and when it comes to becoming a successful physician after schooling in the Caribbean, well, I feel the answer is yes, because it depends on your lecturers, and the lecturing system is actually pretty good. Okay, so when you think about the teacher-student relationship, is actually pretty good because you have a very small classroom. So when it comes to asking questions or telling the lecturer to repeat his or herself, is actually pretty easy. All right, and another thing, remember, it's all based on self-discipline. Okay, so the lecturer is going to do their part, and you as a student, you have to do your part too in terms of self-discipline and studying. Okay, so it's definitely possible to come out of a Caribbean school successful and be a successful physician. Okay, that's question number one. The second one is, do Caribbean medical schools prepare you for the USMLE step 1? Yes, most of the Caribbean medical schools actually use a USMLE based curriculum. Okay, so they teach you in preparing you for the upcoming USMLE in your after your MD5 class or your MD6 class, all right, or whenever you want to take it. Okay, so they actually do prepare you for the USMLE. Most of your courses are going to be USMLE based questions. Okay, for my school, all right, they actually taught us a lot, and we used the first aid a lot, and a lot of Kaplan textbooks. So to answer that question, yes, your school actually prepares you for the USMLE. But remember, it's one thing for your school to use a USMLE based curriculum to teach you, and it's another thing for you to be serious. Okay, you cannot blame the school if you fail the USMLE, because the school is going to do their part to prepare you, and you have to do your own part to prepare yourself. Okay, so next question, is schooling in a Caribbean medical school a ticket to US medical residency? Well, no, it's not a guaranteed ticket that if you school in a Caribbean medical school that you're going to get residency in the US. It's not true at all. All right, it's actually pretty hard to get residency in the US when you school in a Caribbean medical school. Generally, when you school in any international school that is not in the US, it's actually not so easy for international students to get residency. To get residency as an international student, you have to work really hard. All right, to work really hard, pass your exams, especially your steps. The USMLE step 1 is a very important one you have to prepare for. So schooling in a Caribbean school is not a ticket. It's actually easier if you school in the United States itself to get residency. That gives you maybe a ticket, I guess. But schooling in the Caribbean school is not a ticket to residency. Okay, so I hope I answered that question. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is going to be like the Caribbean tuition fees. What's it like? Okay, so generally the tuition is about like $15,000 to $20,000 annually. All right, that's for most Caribbean medical schools. But there are some Caribbean medical schools that are quite expensive. They are more expensive because those ones you have a better chance of actually getting a residency match in the United States. Okay, so those ones that are more expensive are around, should I say, about $60,000 to $65,000 every year. Okay, so those ones are quite more expensive. That's when you talk about the likes of St. George's and Ross University. Okay, so these universities are way more expensive. But if you want Caribbean medical school that is not so expensive, but also you get good results, okay, you can have like $15,000 to $20,000 to $25,000 annually. Okay, so the school fees is kind of ranges from not so expensive to expensive depending on the university and the one you want to go to. All right, so finally, my last question is, would I advise anyone to actually attend Caribbean medical schools? Well, the answer is yes. Okay, I can actually advise someone to attend the Caribbean medical school because I actually attended one. Okay, so why would I advise you to go there? I advise you to go there because of the small classroom whatever, the small classroom, because the teachers and the students relationship is actually very nice, because the students in the classroom are not so much, you know, when you have a larger class, it's harder for students to ask questions, and sometimes it's harder for students to understand. Okay, the teaching curriculum is actually really nice, especially if you're a studious student. It will help you learn a lot. So there are a lot of ways for you to actually progress and be very good in your studies when you go to a Caribbean medical school. Then if you're going to the Caribbean medical school because of you want your goal at the end of the day to be to work in the US, then be ready to work extremely hard, because you have to do extremely well in your USMLE. But if you know that getting into the US is going to be hard, and that's all your mind, and you're not a very studious person, I would advise you don't go to a Caribbean medical school, because your last bus stop is definitely not going to be the US. Okay, so it's kind of a yes and no situation. Yes, if you know that, okay, you have other plans apart from the US, because the US might not generally work for you. If you have other plans apart from the US to work as a physician, then yes, the Caribbean schools are for you. But if the US is your only option and that's where you want to end up in, then get ready to work extremely hard for that to be your goal. I hope I was really helpful with all this talk, with all these questions. Okay, and if you have any other question, don't forget to comment down and I'll be able to answer your questions. Thank you for watching my video. Have a lovely day. Bye.